3 Sinister Janitor Horror Stories, Unexplained Secrets Revealed Behind Haunted Doors. The night fell heavy over the suburban streets of Phoenix, a warm breeze whispering secrets as Jenna wrestled with her unease. Her kids had just started at the local high school, and everything seemed so normal. The tree-lined streets and friendly waves felt like a protective blanket. But tonight, strange noises echoed from the school, rattling within the walls like the whispers of lost souls. What lurked beneath the surface of their fresh start? It started with Mr. Hargrove, the night janitor, a shadowy figure who roamed the empty halls as if summoned by darkness itself. Why was he always there just after Jenna left? She could feel the hairs on her neck prickle every time she turned to see him standing quietly in the corner, his eyes calculating, a sly smile creeping across his face. Was he watching her? Watching the children? Jenna shuddered at the thought, her body tense with a chill that seemed to sink into her bones. The school felt haunted, and tonight the air carried a weighty silence, interrupted only by distant creaks and echoes that seemed to drape over her like a funeral shroud. This wasn't the suburban life she had envisioned. "Mom!" Lily and Sam burst through the door, their faces pale, eyes wide. "You won't believe what we saw." They spoke in hushed tones, as if the walls might listen. "Mr. Hargrove, he was in the gym. We saw him looking at us." Their words tumbled out, jagged and breathless. Jenna's heart kicked into overdrive. She tried to calm them, insisting it was just a trick of the light or an overactive imagination, but the details they recounted struck fear through her. They mentioned shadowy figures dancing around the court, dark shapes swirling under the dim lights, and the way Mr. Hargrove locked eyes with them, as if he knew secrets buried deep within the very fabric of their lives. This wasn't normal fear, it was something deeper, a hallowed echo that rattled her bones. Jenna's instincts screamed to protect her children. She needed to know the truth behind Mr. Hargrove, to unravel the mystery that felt like a noose tightening around her family. As she pulled herself together, she began to dig into the school's past, uncovering whispers of an unsolved break-in a few months back, and rumors of a beloved math teacher who had vanished without a trace. What could these threads of terror reveal? And then, she found an old door in the janitor's closet that should never have existed. With trembling fingers, she forced it open, and as it creaked, a rush of musty air spilled out, dragging her into its depths. What lay before her sent chills through her spine, a basement forgotten by time, filled with relics of despair, dusty trophies etched with twisted names, heartbreaking photographs, and a wall adorned with scrawled dates of those who had simply disappeared from the school. Panic settled in her gut as she pieced together the horrors. This wasn't just a past haunting, it was a legacy of hidden truths buried under the glossy, perfect veneer of suburbia. Just as she began to connect the dots, a cold presence slithered behind her. She turned slowly, dread pooling in her stomach. There was Mr. Hargrove, standing in the doorway, a sinister smile stretching across his lips. "Jenna," he called softly, that sing-song tone sending shivers racing down her spine. Caught between the haunting truth and the safety of her children, Jenna stood on the precipice of terror, a mother facing the unseen malignity that had woven itself into their lives. The weight of the past pressed against her, a dark fog. Could she escape, or were they forever bound to the nightmare that lay lurking beyond those haunted doors? The darkness seemed to pulse, waiting for her next move. Jenna's heart raced as she faced Mr. Hargrove, the shadows of the basement swallowing her whole. The photo-lined wall behind her felt as if it were closing in, a monstrous thing made of memories and regrets, straining under the weight of unspoken truths. He stepped forward, the chill of his presence making primitive instincts throb in her chest. What do you want?" Her voice trembled. His smile widened, an unsettling crescent moon carving into the darkness. "Want? Oh, Jenna, I don't want much. Just to share the stories, the real stories." He gestured towards the looming wall, words dripping with insidious glee. "These children, they just wanted to play to belong. But some found themselves lost." The word lost echoed in the hollow space. Jenna backed up instinctively, the sticky air thickening around her. "They disappeared. You know what happened to them?" "Yes," he crooned, his voice wrapping around her like a snake. They were never really gone. Just waiting, waiting to be remembered. Jenna's mind spun. She felt the familiar grip of fear, squeezing against her throat. "You're sick," she gasped. "You're a monster." His laughter echoed in the empty space, low and chilling. "There are worse monsters than me, Jenna. Monsters made of fear and denial." Mr. Hargrove stepped closer, his breath cold against her skin. "Sometimes, you have to let the darkness in. You understand, don't you?" She glanced around, desperate for escape, but the basement felt like a labyrinth, the door behind her now an unreachable memory. Lily and Sam's faces flashed in her mind. "I want to let you take them," she said defiantly, struggling to keep her voice steady. "Take them?" He arched an eyebrow, the smile twisting into something darker. "No, dear. They're already part of the story. They belong to the school now, much like the rest of them." Before she could reply, cold fingers clasped around her wrist, dragging her deeper into the labyrinth of shadows. She fought against the grasp, panic surging. "No. You can't. Let me go." But Mr. Hargrove merely chuckled, eyes now glinting with a predatory hunger. "You wanted answers, didn't you? All those years of mystery unraveling like your own threads. I'm just the caretaker of the truth." The grip on her wrist tightened. "Embrace the darkness, Jenna. Or it will consume you." Every instinct screamed at her to twist away, to claw free. But another voice, quieter and more dangerous, whispered inside her. Could there be solace in the truth he promised? In the dark history he kept alive? Suddenly, a sound broke the tension, a scuffling followed by a soft thud. Jenna's heart stopped. It was coming from the other side of the basement. She held her breath, the air thick with dread. "Who's there?" Her voice quavered. Without warning, a figure emerged from the dark, small and hesitant. It was her daughter, Lily, eyes wide, desperate. "Mom!" she cried, and in that moment, Jenna's resolve shattered. "Get back!" Jenna screamed, feeling the power of a mother's panic race through her, giving way to a primal protectiveness. But Mr. Hargrove blocked her view, standing tall, like a dark sentinel. "Oh, little one, welcome. You're just in time for the story's next chapter." A surge of terror coursed through Jenna. Could she save her daughter from this insufferable grip of darkness? As they stood frozen between the formidable shadows and a fragile light, the basement seemed to come alive, pulsing with reliance on their love, echoing fears over generations. "Mom! Please!" Lily begged, reaching through the expanding dark, a plea shimmering in her gaze. With darkness tightening around them, and time stilled at the threshold of horror and hope, a decision loomed large. What choice would Jenna make? What sacrifices lay ahead? The thought lingered like a noose in the air, the truth may not set them free. Would they emerge, or would they be trapped forever in this cycle of despair? The door to their fate cracked open, but what waited behind it? Jenna's breath quickened. The room felt alive, vibrating with fear and shadows. Mr. Hargrove stood before Lily, a twisted grin on his face as if he were the gatekeeper of something unfathomable. Jenna lunged forward, the instinct to protect her daughter igniting every cell in her body. "Get away from her." Her voice was raw, almost a growl. Hargrove didn't budge. Such fierce love, he mused, his tone condescending, like petting a feral cat that only needed the right touch. But love can blind, dear Jenna. Lily looked back at her mother, confusion mingling with fright. "Mom, what is happening?" "Not now, Lily. Just stay where you are." The struggle to keep calm made Jenna's heart race faster. Hargrove's gaze was like a vice, and shadows swirled around him, hungry, whispering secrets in the dark. "Embrace the inevitable," Hargrove urged softly. "Your daughter is simply stepping into the light, or perhaps, a different kind of darkness." "No!" Jenna shouted, clenching her fists. "I want to let you take her. I'd rather see her lost with me than belong to you. He chuckled again, a sound that crawled under her skin. Interesting perspective. But you mistake me. I don't take. I merely guide. The floorboards creaked ominously, shifting as if the very structure of the basement were alive and eager. Jenna felt an overwhelming urge to flee, to grab Lily and run. But the shadows tightened their grip, the darkness pulsing like a living thing. Jenna moved, darting to the side, desperate to break Hargrove's hold over her daughter. Lily, come. We need to go. But shadows were already reaching for her little girl. Jenna's heart thundered in her chest. Mom! Lily wailed, the sound echoing in the chamber of regrets. She was caught in a tug-of-war, her tiny frame caught between the heaviness of the dark and the warmth of her mother's love. There was a flicker and instant of doubt in Hargrove's eyes. It gave Jenna hope. She sprang forward, ready to tear through that oppressive darkness. I'll fight you. With a quick flick, Hargrove's hand shot out, pushing Jenna back, and she stumbled into the wall of memories behind her. The photos gleamed like eyes, watching, knowing. But there was no time to dwell on them. Hargrove's focus was divided, he turned toward the images on the wall. Let her go. Jenna screamed. You have no claim over her. Lily, still trembling, tried to inch closer. Each step she took pulled her further into the allure of secrets, the darkness whispering sweet nothings, promising safety, belonging. Jenna's stomach twisted. The same nightmare that gripped her childhood was threatening to ensnare her daughter. Stop! Jenna cried out, her voice breaking. Lily! You are stronger than this. The moment hung heavy. The shadows shuddered. Do you hear that? Hargrove's demeanor shifted. The stories want to be set free. They want her. Mom! Lily's voice was barely a whisper now, fear stealing her will. The walls seemed to pull Jenna deeper, memories flooding back those lost children, their laughter turned to wails of despair. She had to fight back the tide. I won't let you take her. With one mighty push, Jenna surged forward, aiming for her child, and dove into the shadows. In that moment, the dark gave way, a crack in the facade of fear. But as she reached for Lily, the pictures on the wall erupted, revealing faces twisted in agony, their mouths clamoring for their stories to be heard. Jenna froze, horror gripping her heart. Welcome to the story, Jenna, Hargrove hissed, and before she could respond, the grip of lost souls began pulling her under. The basement sang with a cacophony of laughter and screams, the sound spiraling into madness. Jenna felt the walls close. Had she just condemned her daughter to the very darkness she once escaped? The light flickered. All hope crackled, and for a fleeting second, Jenna thought she saw the outline of her own childhood, the path she had forgotten. Then everything went black. Could the darkness be defeated, or was this the beginning of an endless cat-and-mouse game with Mr. Hargrove? What awaited her beneath the suffocating shadows? The darkness lingered, thick and suffocating, wrapping around Jenna like a shroud. She couldn't see or feel anything but the oppressive weight of despair. It was as if the very essence of her being had been drained, leaving behind nothing but echoes of dread. Then, just as suddenly as it came, the pitch black faded to a slate gray. Jenna gasped, pulling in a breath thick with dust and the scent of aged wood. She lay sprawled on a cold, concrete floor, disoriented. The basement was different now. Where had it all gone? The photos that had once watched her were gone, their hollow eyes extinguished. A low moan echoed, rippling through the shadows that danced along the edges of her vision. Jenna scrambled to her feet, heart pounding against her ribs like a trapped animal. Lily! She called, her voice trembling. Fear clawed at her throat, choking her words. A faint cry responded, barely audible above the flickering lights. It led her toward a distant corner, shrouded in a curtain of dark. Jenna's feet moved of their own accord, some primal instinct guiding her deeper into the unknown. Each step was heavy, the ground feeling like it was pulling her down, urging her to turn back. But she couldn't abandon Lily. As she drew closer, shapes began to materialize in the haze. Forms twisted and contorted, locked in a dance of sorrow and loss. "Mom!" Lily's voice came again, clearer this time, tinged with frantic desperation. There she was, a small figure seated on the concrete, backed against the wall, eyes wide and unfocused. Shadows surrounded her, and they writhed like something alive, reaching, craving. "Lily!" Jenna shouted, but terror constricted around her heart as she saw the darkness coiling around her daughter, whispering sweet lies in tones that promised safety and warmth. "Stay away!" Lily cried, tears streaking her cheeks. I can't get out." Her tiny hands pressed against her ears, trying to block out the sinister murmurings that ensnared her mind. Jenna rushed forward, fighting the tendrils of darkness that tried to ensnare her too. "I'm coming. Hold on." With all her strength, she reached for Lily, anguish blazing through her like wildfire. But these shadows were strong, far stronger than anything Jenna had faced before. They yanked at her, pulling her apart from the inside out, filling her with despair. "You can't save her. You never could," a voice rasped from the deep dark, echoing in her mind. This voice, she recognized it. It was a familiar haunt from her past, from her own descent into this abyss. "No!" Jenna shouted, fighting back the darkness. "You won't take her. She is mine." A sudden impulse surged through her veins, a desperate blaze of determination. Jenna steadied herself and focused on her daughter, the love swelling in her heart. "Lily! Break free! Fight it!" The shadows hissed and shrieked, recoiling at Jenna's declaration. It was as if her voice became a sword, cleaving through the fog of despair that suffocated them both. With renewed hope, Jenna lunged forward, grasping Lily's hands. The moment their fingers touched, a jolt of light surged through the room. It split the darkness like lightning, and for an instant, they both shone, their silhouettes brilliant against the void, but just as quickly, Hargrove's laughter echoed through the chamber like an ominous wind, snatching at the fragile light. "You think that can save you? You only awaken deeper horrors." And all at once, the walls of the basement pulsed, and the ground beneath them trembled. Jenna felt the familiar tug of stories lost and children forgotten, clamoring for attention. She looked at Lily, her heart racing. They were stronger than this, she knew they had to be. Together they could reclaim their lives, break the curse. "Let us go," she shouted, pulling Lily close. But would the shadows let them escape, or were they too late? Panic surged back, the darkness thickening in retaliation. The basement roared with anger as the shadows lurked closer, and the echoes of past choices began to converge. Could they break the cycle? Or were they merely stepping deeper into a trap of their own making? The ground quaked again. What awaited them just beyond the veil of darkness? The earth shuddered violently, a relentless force pulling Jenna and Lily apart. Jenna felt the chill seep into her bones as the wall behind them seemed to close in, breathing, pulsating, twisting into the shapes of faces she recognized from childhood nightmares. Faces of those lost, those forgotten, voices echoing through her, merging with the malevolent whispers. "Mom! Please!" Lily's voice cracked, their moment of light already fading. The darkness crept back, wrapping around Lily's small form. It was a battle of wills, Jenna's desperate love against the ancient sorrow that sought to consume them both. "Hold on. Just hold on," Jenna cried, her voice almost swallowed by the growling shadows. She surged forward, willing herself to defy the gravity of despair. The cold air fluttered around her, filled with unseen hands that clawed and grasped. Shadows stretched out, their fingers grazing her skin like ice. With a deep breath, Jenna tapped into the anger that coursed through her veins, the anger at this wretched place, at Hargrove, at the darkness that had rent her life apart so many years ago. "I want to let you take her." Suddenly, as if responding to her rage, the shadows recoiled, hissing and retreating into themselves. Lily blinked, momentarily free from the fog of despair, and Jenna seized the chance. Lily, stand up. Come to me. Their hands met again, a brief electric shock igniting between them. A warmth spread from their clasped fingers, and for an instant, the shadows hesitated, the room flickering in bursts of light. But then, Hargrove's laughter warped through the air. You want her? You think your love can conquer the abyss? Let her go, or join her in eternal suffering. The basement transformed. Graffiti, etched by despair, marred the walls, cries of countless souls resounded like a symphony of agony. Jenna felt the heat leave her body, replaced by a frigid wave of hopelessness. Could she truly save her daughter? Was this all an illusion, a cruel joke orchestrated by the twisted shadows? Mom! Lily shrieked, eyes widening as more ominous shapes revealed themselves, each more grotesque than the last. A figure emerged from the shadows, the edges of its form shifting and shuddering, resembling a woman with hollow eyes that swallowed light. Jenna's heart thudded in her chest as she recognized her. Margot. The name escaped her lips, a breathless whisper. For Jenna, Margot was a specter of her childhood. Her childhood friend, lost in the abyss of this very place. The realization surged through Jenna like ice water. What happened to you? Margot's mouth twisted into an eerie grin, voice like gravel. Hargrove's truth lies buried beneath the ruins. The past is never truly gone, it lingers in the dark. The ground trembled again, a deep rumbling that twisted Jenna's stomach. The basement was alive. No. You're wrong. We can fight this together. She shouted, pulling Lily closer, but despair clawed at her heart. Margot's laughter filled the room, echoing despair. Shadows snake-like reaching closer still, tumbling like dark water roaring toward them. You're too late. You can only join us now in his game. Then, all at once, the lights flickered briefly, illuminating a door at the far end of the basement, a door previously hidden in shadows. Its wood was splintered, dark runes carved deep into its surface. Jenna turned to Lily, determination igniting with the last of her strength. Lily. We need to go through that door. It could be our way out. But as they raced towards it, the shadows surged again, boiling, a thick tide of darkness intent on dragging them back. They shrieked and howled, retreating, pushing them toward the edge of despair. Would they make it through? Or linger another moment, swallowed by the force that sought to imprison them forever? As they neared, Jenna searched for answers while the shadows conspired, plotting their next move, twisting the world around them. What lurked beyond the door, Jenna wondered. A chance at hope or the end of them both? The door loomed closer, its cracked surface trembling as if alive. Jenna felt the shadows pressing against her, an icy pulse thrumming through the air. Each step seemed to suck the heat from her body. Lily, go faster. She urged, her heart racing. The shadows howled behind them, writhing like angry serpents eager to drag them back into the abyss. Mom, I can't. Lily whimpered, her small legs faltering. A shadow, darker than the night itself, reached out, snatching at the hem of her shirt. Jenna let go of Lily just long enough to swing around, shoving the darkness back with the fierce heat of her will. The shadows hissed like agitated bees, retreating momentarily. Keep moving. Jenna shouted, gripping Lily's hand tightly. The warmth of their connection surged, filling her with a desperate hope. They pressed on, the door calling to them with an ominous whisper. It felt like salvation and damnation all at once. Racing towards it, the runes on the door began to glow faintly, reacting to their presence. Mom! What if it's a trap? Lily cried, fear twinging at her voice. There's no time to think. Jenna responded sharply, glancing back. The shadows writhed, a chorus of tortured souls, their faces twisted in anguish and rage. We'll figure it out together. As they reached the door, Jenna hurled her shoulder against it, panic fueling her strength. The ancient wood splintered under the force, the runes sparking to life with a blinding light that stung their eyes. Jenna felt the reins of panic tightening. Was this the end of an old nightmare or the beginning of a new terror? The door swung open that a cyclone of cold air blasted against them, a gust swirling with whispers that gripped at their minds. Inside, a long, dark hallway stretched out like a gaping maw, each step mouthing the count of years lost. Shadows danced along the walls, darting back and forth as Jenna and Lily peered into the abyss. "Move!" Jenna urged again, her heart hammering. They stepped through, and instantly, the door slammed shut behind them, the echoes of screams fading into oppressive silence. No going back now, the hallway twisted and turned, everything dim and damp. With every footfall, the darkness pressed closer, feeding off their fear. The walls began to pulse, resembling the fleshy skin of a living creature, etched with stains that told stories better left untold. Then, from the stillness, forms began to materialize, figures caught in eternal torment, each face a reflection of the pain they carried, suffering interwoven with sorrow. What are they?" Lily gasped, gripping Jenna's hand tighter, her eyes wide with terror. "Souls trapped," Jenna barely whispered, dread crawling up her spine. "We can't let ourselves join them." Suddenly, a guttural voice echoed down the hall, sending tremors coursing through Jenna's body. "Welcome, new players, are you ready to uncover the truth?" Her breath hitched. There it was again, the unmistakable mockery of Hargrove's voice. Jenna's stomach churned as the shadows coiled tightly, their clutches tightening. Compelled to move, they pressed forward into the gloom, even as a deep sense of foreboding settled in their bones. "Must we face him again?" Lily asked, her voice quivering. Jenna nodded grimly. "We have to find a way to end this," she said, steeling herself as they ventured deeper, the weight of dread heavy around them. But in that suffocating silence, one realization gnawed at Jenna: every choice they made would unearth secrets stowed away in the dark. Would those secrets empower them or destroy them? "Lily," Jenna muttered, the air thick with anticipation. "Our choices matter here." Just then, the shadows leapt, and the laughter returned, twisted and shrieking. "Are you ready for the next game?" As the first of the phantoms lunged forward, mouths opening in silent screams, Jenna realized the horrifying truth: escape was merely the beginning of their nightmare. With dread gnawing at her heart, she braced for the worst, but one thought lingered: what was hidden in the darkness waiting to be found? The shadows lunged, curling around Jenna's legs with the chill of death. She stumbled, dragging Lily along as the laughter echoed, cruel and mocking. "Keep moving!" she screamed, her voice raw with panic. The phantoms swirled around them, faces twisted, eyes hollow, voices merging into a cacophony that burrowed into her mind. "Mom! I'm scared!" Lily cried, eyes wide with terror as the temperature plummeted. Jenna felt her heart beat like thunder, every pulse a reminder of the danger closing in. The hallway seemed to stretch endlessly, knitting into a tapestry of despair. Jenna's breath hitched as they reached a fork. Two paths lay ahead, one veiled in darkness, the other bathed in a pale, flickering light. Desperation clawed at her. Which way? Jenna's teeth were clenched so tight they ached. "Mom, the light." Lily pointed, fear making her voice tremble. "Go." Jenna barked, sensing that hesitation meant doom. They dashed towards the light, but as they moved, tendrils of darkness lashed out, grabbing at their ankles, pulling with relentless force. She fought back, casting a protective barrier of wool around them. Just a little further Jenna pushed, each step a struggle. The light flickered again, a beacon in the encroaching nightmare. It pulsed in rhythm with her racing heart, shadows writhing and hissing like snakes disturbed from their slumber. Lily stumbled, but Jenna caught her, lifting her up. "We're almost there. Don't stop." She could feel the cold clinging to her skin. It seeped into her bones, whispering uncertainties and fears. As they reached the threshold of the light, Jenna gasped. It illuminated a small room, walls covered with framed photographs and old, shadowy figures fading in and out like distant memories. In the center, an altar stood, adorned with trinkets that seemed to gleam with lost hope. "What is this place?" Lily whispered, her tiny voice trembling. "I don't know, but we have to be careful," Jenna warned, scanning their surroundings. The pictures displayed fleeting moments of joy, families, laughter, but each pair of eyes seemed to plead for release. Jenna's throat tightened. Then, a voice whispered from the altar, thick with despair, "You must choose, one for the truth, one for the sacrifice." Jenna froze, the air thickened with dread. Choose. What did it mean? She stepped closer, the shadows receding slightly, as if afraid of the light. "What do you want from us?" she demanded. The altar shimmered, flickering into view like a mirage. A small box sat at its center, engraved with intricate patterns pulsating eerily. Jenna glanced at Lily, whose eyes were wide with confusion. "Mom," Lily began, her voice faltering. Jenna squeezed her hand tighter, trying to mask her own fear. "Don't let go," she hissed, as an unseen force pressed against her heart, urging her to approach the altar. "Open it, and face what you've hidden," the voice hissed, echoing off the walls. Jenna's pulse quickened. What did that mean? Hidden. There was no way she could before she could finish her thought, something cold wrapped around her throat. The shadows slithered forward, grasping at Jenna, dragging her toward the altar. "No!" she screamed, panic rising as she fought against the tightening coils. Lily screamed, her little body trembling and shouting for her mom, but Jenna felt the dark reach deep inside, grasping at her memories, secrets she had buried, fears of leaving Lily, regrets, things she had never confronted. "Mom! Please!" Jenna's heart shattered. "Don't let them take you!" She yelled back, fighting the onslaught with every ounce of strength, but as her vision darkened, and the shadows consumed her whole, a sense of clarity emerged. The truth. What was the truth? Just as the light began to fade and despair consumed her, Jenna felt herself slipping into something deeper. A terrible revelation awaited her, a choice forged in darkness. What would she sacrifice to save Lily? And what truth was waiting in the shadows for them to uncover? The shadows crawled closer, gnashing their ethereal teeth, their grip on Jenna tightening as a chilling reality sunk in. The world around her warped, bending like the flickering light that fought to remain steady. The edges of the room started to blur, and Jenna felt Lily's small hand slipping from hers, the darkness pulling her daughter into its maw. "Lily!" The scream tore from Jenna's throat, desperation fueling her. She instinctively lunged, breaking through the suffocating shadows that slithered around them, clawing at her will. "Stay with me." She summoned whatever strength she could muster, but the darkness around her retaliated, a swirling vortex of despair, and for every inch she gained, it dragged her further into its depths. Lily's cries echoed, sharp and agonizing. "Mom! I can't see." Tears streamed down the little girl's cheeks, her eyes wide and filled with a terror that cut through Jenna like a knife. Jenna's heart echoed Lily's fear, its beats desperate and uneven. "No, no, no!" Jenna gasped, wrestling to keep her daughter anchored. She struggled to focus, the altar and its haunting whisper demanded her attention. The box. The terrible choice. Whatever it contained felt like a key to open this nightmare. "Make a choice." The voice was relentless, growing louder, seeping into her consciousness. Shadows darted around the room, forming grotesque shapes that mirrored her innermost fears. Failures, losses, moments she had wished away. What truth? What sacrifice? Jenna shouted, her voice cracking. Light pulsed stronger from the altar, revealing the intricate designs that seemed to bleed into the room itself. Suddenly, the air shifted, heavy with the weight of time and memories. Jenna saw fleeting images trapped in the shimmering box, faces of friends who had turned away, dreams she had surrendered, the day she had nearly lost Lily in that horrific car accident. Each scene felt alive, each regret a dagger in her heart. "Open it," the voice coaxed, almost sweetly. "And learn everything." Jenna's resolve wavered. What would she sacrifice? A life? A truth? Her mind raced as pieces of herself flickered into focus, the truth she had hidden beneath layers of denial gnawed at her. Could she change the past? Mom! Lily's voice was a lifeline, dragging Jenna back from the brink. Please don't leave me. Echoes of laughter filled the room, a frantic chorus of lost hopes. Panic surged anew. Lily, I'm here. She turned, but the shadows twisted, stretching toward her daughter. A raw instinct ignited. I want to let you take her. With newfound determination, Jenna surged toward the box, the shadows recoiling just for a heartbeat. With trembling fingers, she reached out, feeling a heat radiating from it, wrestling against the cold tendrils of darkness that wrapped around her. Her hands brushed the surface, electrifying sparks cascading across her skin. The moment she lifted the box's lid, an anguished howl erupted, shaking the very ground beneath them. The photographs within revealed not just her failures, but the truths hidden from Lily, those moments swathed in darkness that could shatter the innocent light in her daughter's eyes. No. The overwhelming sight almost knocked Jenna back. You must choose. The voice screamed, wild and thrumming. The shadows recoiled and a bright light flared, illuminating the roiling mass just beyond. What Jenna saw next made her stomach churn and the brilliance of the light, she glimpsed more than the memories of regret, she saw the figures of those she had lost, faces twisted in pain. Everything about that choice loomed before her now. It felt like a knife once drawn, it would forever alter their lives. What am I? Jenna whispered, horror dawning. What must I give? Suddenly, silence engulfed the room. The shadows paused, the air thick with anticipation. Jenna's breath caught, a new understanding settled in. It's not just a choice. Jenna gasped, heart racing. It's about what lies ahead. What price would the truth demand? But an unseen force jerked her back. With a strangled cry, Jenna fought against the pull, her daughter was fading. No. Not again. In that heartbeat of despair, Jenna pushed past the encroaching darkness, straining for the light, for Lily. But what if she made the wrong choice? What revelation lurked just beyond the light, waiting to be unleashed? The box lay open, an abyss of secrets waiting to consume them both as the shadows surged forward again beyond all reckoning. What fate awaited them as darkness laughed victorious, ready to claim its price? Jenna's heart hammered in her chest. She watched the shadows lunge for Lily, their claws like 1,000 icy fingers grasping for the child she loved more than anything in the world. Jenna's mind raced, each flicker of that glowing light revealing more horrifying truths about the past, her regrets, her sins, her failures. The shrill wail of Lily's voice pierced through the thick veil of despair. Mom! Save me! Not while I breathe! Jenna shouted, summoning every ounce of her strength. The darkness raged around her, but she moved forward, her fingers gripping the edge of the altar with a painful intensity. Make the choice. The shadowy voice hissed, now low and menacing, echoing off the walls like thunder. What will it be, Jenna? Will you sacrifice one for the sake of the other? A life for a life? Frozen by the weight of the decision, Jenna felt a crushing wave of nausea. The photos in the box seemed to pulse to life, shimmering images of what could be, what might have been. She glimpsed her husband's broken face, anger and sorrow dancing across it, she felt the remnants of dreams that had slipped through her fingers like grains of sand. Mom! Please! Jenna flinched as another wave of shadows crashed against her, tearing at her resolve. The truth was too monstrous to comprehend. I can't. I want tea. But the voice tightened its grip within her mind. You have no choice. The shadows know your heart. They demand a price. Choose, or lose them both. Her pulse raced. Jenna turned back toward Lily, her face shining with tears, a living reminder of her life's purpose. I want to abandon you. She cried. I'll never let you go. Just then, the box flickered again, drawing Jenna's attention. It was wide open now, filled with bright light that beckoned, but sinister whispers lurked just beyond. Might that light hold the secret to turning back the hands of time? To saving both herself and Lily? But as she peered inside, horrifying visions gripped her, moments that told of lives cut short, tragedies that unfolded in a dark dance of fate. Jenna's breath quickened as she recognized the faces from her past friends who had died too young, people she had failed, dreams that were ripped away. Does it cost a friend? She wondered aloud, uncertainty pouring through her. Or is it your own soul? The shadows stretched again, hungry and vengeful, pulling at Lily, who cried out in terror. Mom! Please! In that instant, Jenna's heart clenched. She realized the shadows were nothing but her fears, her failures manifested into grotesque images. It wasn't just about sacrifice, it was about facing her own demons. Let her go. Jenna screamed, her voice rising above the anguished wailing. With a surge of defiance, she stepped toward the light, ignoring the shadows that wrapped around her legs like creeping vines. Grabbing Lily's hand tightly, Jenna dug her heels into the floor, lifting her chin defiantly. I choose love. She roared into the darkness, echoing her defiance against the swirling mass of despair. The shadows hesitated, the light flickering, pulsating like a heartbeat. For a brief moment, dread gave way to a comforting warmth that enveloped them both. But was it enough? The darkness surged again, and Jenna gasped, the shadows roaring like a storm. What would be the true cost of her declaration of love? As the shadows closed in, a blinding light erupted from the box, illuminating the room with a fierce, white glow. Everything seemed to pause a moment, suspended in time, frozen between what was and what could be. And in that stillness, Jenna felt a cold whisper brush against her ear, a name, a warning, a fate long sealed. Choose wisely. A shiver ran down Jenna's spine. What price did true love demand? The shadows lunged once more, a relentless tide, ready to swallow them whole. Would Jenna's choice lead to salvation, or was the darkness simply biding its time, eager to claim the sacrifices? All around her, the world trembled, entwining past, present, and future in a sinful embrace. As darkness roared, Jenna gripped Lily's hand tighter, heart heavy with dread. What awaited them in the heart of the shadows? Just then, the light flickered and the images in the box twisted out of focus. Was it the past being rewritten, or the future being devoured? Ahead lay a terrifying choice, and the air grew thick with the suffocating weight of uncertainty. What truth waited in the shadows, ready to expose the darkness they hid within? The darkness roiled. Shadows twisted as Jenna clung to Lily, the bond between them sparking against the creeping chill. The furious darkness howled, reaching for them with hungry fingers, but Jenna felt anger rise within her. She wouldn't let it take her daughter. Enough! She roared, pushing forward, as though her will alone could repel the shadows. The voices grew louder, a chorus of anguish attempting to drown out her resolve. You'll never escape, they taunted, but Jenna felt something shift. The light from the box flickered, infused with her fierce love and determination. Her heart surged with power, an echo of warmth against the biting cold of despair. You can't have us! She yelled defiantly, taking a step toward the altar, where the light danced, casting away the clutches of darkness. Lily's small hand squeezed hers, her fear igniting Jenna's fire. We can beat this, Mom! Her daughter cried, eyes wide with that spark of hope. The shadows hesitated, as if momentarily stunned. What must we do? Jenna shouted, the air thick with anticipation. The whispers grew frantic, begging, twisting around her, but she drowned them out, focused on the pulsing light. Face your truth. The voice echoed, deep and all-consuming. Jenna's vision was suddenly clear. Every regret, every loss, every moment of fear, this was it. It wasn't merely about a choice, it was about confronting everything she avoided. She had buried those shadows in her past, but they were demanding to be acknowledged now. Only by facing them could she truly save Lily. Lily, Jenna said, her voice steady but urgent, I need you to be strong. What do we do? Lily asked, confusion mingling with rising courage. Together, Jenna replied, whispering fiercely. We will show them love. We will break their hold over us. She took a deep, steadying breath, feeling the weight of memories, good and bad. I choose to embrace the truth of who I've been, and I choose to embrace who I am now. A mother. A fighter. As she stepped closer to the altar, the box radiated warmth, light intensifying. The shadows recoiled, hissing and screeching, desperately trying to maintain their grip. But Jenna pushed back against them, face set in fierce determination. I will not be defined by my fears. She cried, gripping Lily's hand tighter. I will not let the darkness take our love. In that instant, a palpable energy unfurled from her heart, cascading over them like waves of fire. The pictures in the box shimmered, illuminating their surroundings with memories that forged their identity, faces of family, laughter and tears stitched into the fabric of their lives. The shadows shrieked, swirling around them, but every moment Jenna owned fended off their grasp. The vibrating chorus of lost souls clamored louder, but Jenna's declaration pierced through. Let them go. A surge of fierce nostalgia swept through Jenna. Let the pain teach us strength. Let the loss remind us of our love. I choose love over despair. The box erupted with brilliant light, swallowing the shadows whole. Screams echoed, a cacophony waning as Jenna felt the ground shake beneath her. Having embraced the truth, she turned to look at Lily, whose face radiated courage. As shadows began to dissipate, revealing the way forward, Jenna smiled down at her daughter. We did it, Lily. We beat them together. At that moment, the oppressive weight of the dark lifted. Both looked to the far wall where the door their possible escape stood open. The darkness that had guarded it was now just a faint whisper, retreating in fear. Let us go. Jenna urged, pulling Lily with her through that portal of light. The laughter of lost souls echoed less in their hearts, the warmth of hope flooding in instead. They emerged into the crisp night air, the suburban neighborhood bathed in silver moonlight. The familiar trees cast soft shadows, brushing against the newfound serenity. Mom? Lily asked, her small voice trembling with hope. Yeah. Jenna replied, pulling her close. Do you think it's really over? I think it's a new beginning. Jenna kissed the top of Lily's head, holding her tightly. They had faced the darkness together, and there they stood, survivors against the haunted tales of the past. As they turned to walk home, Jenna glanced back at the school, a silhouette in the distance. The mysteries remained, but now they carried the weight of truth without fear, ready to face whatever stories unfolded next. The night enveloped them, and Jenna held on to Lily, the bond stronger than ever. Shadows didn't own them anymore. Together, they had triumphed, the future awaited, open and bright. Now, dear friends, it's time for you to join us in this journey. You need to subscribe now so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. It's the moment to show your support. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Keep the conversation going. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your support means everything. Let's grow this community together.